Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibbin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Ring, 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 back to school learning. Accel Finance help you joy of learning. Ring, 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 your future is bright. With the Accel loan help you get start right. Backpacks, the uniform is on. Accel Finance will let them do success. No worries, no stress. We got your back better Accel loan and keep them on track. Ring, 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 back to school learning. Accel Finance help you joy of learning.
Accelerate your kids' education today with an Accel Back to School loan. Visit today or call us on 435-8222.
Ring, 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 back to school learning. Accel Finance help you joy of learning.
Infinite Contractors and Machinery. We are your one-stop engineering and consultancy company with experience locally, regionally, and internationally. We provide excavation services and engineering consultancy, construction of residential and commercial structures, civil works such as drainage, retaining walls, roads, concrete patio services, paving services, concrete driveway services, remodeling and renovation, painting services, styling services, and so much more. Ask about our rental services of excavators, heavy equipment, metal formwork, and steel prop. Contact us today via telephone number 537-9675 or email infinitecontractors19@gmail.com.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only. And of course, we'd like to say hello and welcome to everybody currently tuned in to another Mikey Live program. How are you doing today? It's always my pleasure to be back with you, talking to you about what is making the news. So today, we had a little situation in the Grand Mall area, and so traffic had to be diverted. I believe that there was a broken main or something like that. So they had to like tear off the road surface and get in there and have that main pipe repaired. So that took some time to be done, and so that interrupted the flow of traffic. The western side traffic had to go through Monkuma. We'll talk about that. Anderson Peters wins the Diamond League men's javelin throw today. And of course, police, they're highlighting, well, of course, we'll talk more about that part. And then tourism licensing 2024 to 2025, we're going to be talking about that and some more things. In fact, we're going to be having a conversation tonight with members of the Coast Guard. We often hear about the Coast Guard and how the Coast Guard operates, how they respond to emergency calls, etc. A lot of people complain, and so we're going to be talking to the Coast Guard to have a better understanding of their strategies and operations as it relates to emergencies, search and rescue, etc. All right, so we're going to get into that in a moment. In fact, that is going to be the feature for tonight. Folks, we got to let you know the headlines was brought to you through kind compliment of Courts Grenada Limited, Digicel Nawasa, Real Value, IGA Supermarket, Superb Distributors, Infinite Contractors. We also have on board the good folks at the Axel Finance. So we're taking a break and we shall be back in a moment. When we come back, of course, it could be real news in all the Lily Lolo. So brace yourselves.
It's the Quartz Appliance Event. Cook it, fry it, bake it on a new Ma-Base stove for only $1,799. Stack it, pack it, and chill it with a Frigidaire 4-mount fridge for $2,749. Laundry piling up? Wash it, spin it, dry it in a Frigidaire 17-kilogram washing machine top, only $2,399. Get it now and pay later. It's the Quartz Appliance Event, only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offers end July 24th, 2024. Conditions apply.
Today with an Axel back to school loan. Visit today or call us on 435-8222.
Ring, 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 back to school loan thing. Axel Finance help you joy of learning.
All right, family. Again, welcome to the first time viewers. Hello. And of course, to those of you who are always on the business, hello. So, Anderson Peters is the winner of the Diamond League men's javelin throw today. He was once again proven his prowess following the impressive bronze medal at the recently held Paris Olympic Games. All right, today Peters defied the expectations to claim the gold medal. You understand, Grenada? Of course, we are trending. Now, it was a stunning final throw of 90.61 meters. So here's what Peters, he not only secured the victory, but also shattered the previous meeting record of 90.16. So we just flipped the thing in the back there. So, you understand? All right. So it was held by a Trinidadian. So Grenada trending right now. It's a remarkable throw, all right? It established a new meeting record and marked the season's best for Anderson Peters. You see, I have to motivate them athletes, give them like money, make them pride, and of course that motivates them, so you understand the business. Good. So, as I was telling you about, like a situation today. So what happened was, somehow, I don't know, like there was a broken main. How you break, I don't know. In the Grand Mall area by that kid. Let's see if I get a picture of all the business. That kid, that kind of thing, Papa. Imagine going there to make the whole wrong in a bus. You had to go Monkuma, can you believe that? Yes, but then people working hard now. I saw them. Let's see if I get a picture. You have a picture on the screen? You have a picture on the screen? Right. Yeah, watch that, hold on, watch that piece. So you see, they technically, that's by Pier 57, in the vicinity of Pier 57. So they have to open up everything by the corner there. So they have to open up everything by and do some work and then organize themselves. You understand? So according to NAWASA, they sent out notice today. They said National Water and Sewage Authority advises that to facilitate system recharge consumers served by, oh no, that's another one. But yes, well then NAWASA and the police highlighted it. He said, according to the police, in light of the work that was undertaken surrounding the broken main, the RGPF officially sent out notice about the temporary closure of the Grand Mall Main Road. The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force notified the public, they say, particularly motorists traveling western side, that until 6 o'clock this evening, the Grand Mall Main Road in the vicinity of Pier 57 would have been closed to vehicular traffic. This, it said, was necessary to facilitate the repair works All right. So by now, the area should be reopened. Of course, I think a lot of people were affected by this as well, because that's the main, I think, that serves from the Concord water system. So quite a bit of people were affected as a result of this. So based on what I'm reading here, of course, well, I know that there are people who might be able to confirm this, but the road is supposed to be open by now. I also saw the grandma. I also got the opportunity to check out the land slippage, and they seem to be going really good. So soon we should have we road. I find, yeah, I find the thing look like it connect. Starting connect. So that means soon we could have a road. Yeah, man. So anyway, lay that peace. So the next thing that I have to tell you now, as we are talking about NAWASA, they were saying that they want to advise you that to facilitate system recharge, consumers served by the Mardi Gras water system will experience an interruption in the water supply 8 p.m. tonight to 8 to tomorrow. All right, you didn't give me a time yet. The Mardi Gras water system, it serves Mardi Gras and Twine Hill, also parts of St. Paul's, Beirut, Kobotown, Bay Gardens, Africa, parts of Mount Parnassus, Mondelez, and Old West. Old West all take all the time also. Affected consumers, you're encouraged to collect and store water in clean covered containers, all right, and then to utilize that when your water goes out. So, will you? I find that making sense. Yeah, whatever. So here is the next thing that I want to tell you about. So the Grenada Tourism Authority, they're inviting all tourism operators to apply for the renewal of licenses to operate in the industry. Now, this is in accordance with the GTA Act number 42 of 2013 and the Tourism and Beach Vending Act number 18 of 2001. Renewal of the licenses commenced on August 19 and continues through to the end of September. The invitation goes out to taxi drivers, tour operators, tourism attraction operators, waterfront operators or water sport operators, car rental operators, tourism guides or tourist guides, hotels, villas, guest houses, apartments and cottages, tourist vendors at the Grand Anse Craft and Spice Market, Montrouge Beach, Melville Street, Fort Frederick, Annandale Waterfall, Grand Tang National Park, Concord Waterfall, and Bathway. Now, stakeholders, you can apply to or for the renewal of your licenses via the Pure Grenada website, through the Tourism Licensing Portal, or by contacting the Quality Assurance Department of the Tourism Authority on telephone number 440-2279, Monday to Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. for direct assistance. The Grenada Tourism Authority is committed, they say, to developing a safe and responsible tourism industry that remains competitive and a preferred destination for all our visitors. All right, so that ain't sounding too bad. That not sounding too bad at all. What else do I have to tell you before I go over to the police? So from time to time, I'm going straight to the police. Let me talk. From time to time, we hear people complaining, okay, about the Coast Guard Department and how they respond to distress calls. We hear a lot of complaints, mounting complaints about the Coast Guard. So we are going to have a discussion to understand exactly how they operate, how they respond to emergencies, the search and rescue protocols. Also, to give tips to boat owners and boat operators and beach goers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's prepare ourselves to have this discussion. Let me just go off a little bit to cue them in with officials from the Royal Grenada Police Force. In fact, to be exact, we are going to be speaking to the members of the Coast Guard Department. So let's cue that up. Should take us a couple of seconds to do that and get that conversation on the road. All right, 1 second. All right, so I'd like to welcome everyone to this segment. Of course, we are going to be zeroing in on sea and safety at sea. And we have Inspector Robert and Constable Japal with us from the Coast Guard Department. And let's go straight over to them and say hello. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Mikey. Thank you to the viewers and Mikey Live. Pleasure to be here.
And it's a pleasure to have you here. So, folks, full disclosure, we are having some connectivity difficulties with the officers at their location, but we're going to try our best to see if we can get through this seamlessly. So we are always talking about the Coast Guard operations, the safety at sea for boat operators and for beach users, and so we thought that today's program would be very interesting to you. Now, the first part of the discussion we're going to be talking about is the safety, the boat safety, the equipments and so on that people who have boats, fishermen and so should consider having when venturing out at sea. So let's go straight into that in terms of some of the necessary safety equipment that fishermen and people who are venturing out at sea should consider.
Right. So as it concerns to fishermen and going out to sea, you want to plan your day before leaving port. That is important. Weather update is important too. As we are in the hurricane season, this is critical because at any time a system can develop, and that might hamper your fishing activity outside there. Always do pre-checks on your vessel, ensuring that all equipment is in working order. Also your engines, check your oil, your fuel and everything like that. You would always want to ensure that your captain is competent enough in handling the vessel. You not want that person to be experiencing some health issues at the time, and also you do not want that person to be under the influence of alcohol too. That can pose a serious problem outside there. Always obey aids to navigation, such as channel markers and safe watermarks. You have to know your vessel's abilities also. You do not want to have a small vessel and expect to go like 40, 60 miles and so on. You have to know your capabilities. Establish a float plan, which basically is an overview of what, where, and when you intend to do before leaving port. You want to carry food and water, non-perishable items. Also, what is critical in this hot weather is water, drinking water. You need to have enough drinking water at hand, especially if you're going out during the day.
Right. In conjunction with what Constable Japal would have said in terms of safety equipment or some of the do's and don'ts when venturing out at sea, it is also critical that boat operators know that basic survival equipment must be on board their vessel. Things such as life jackets, rations, or food for a couple days, just in case you go out to sea and you cannot come back or you're lost out there for a while. Also, a means of communication, whether it be a VHF radio or a cell phone. These are critical. These are very, very important. And in addition, you must inform someone where you're going. So at least when time comes and you have not returned, persons would know, the Coast Guard would know what area to start looking for you in. So these are some of the the important consideration that boat operators must be mindful of and must be aware of going forward whenever they're going to sea.
Okay, and what about your response? Because as you're saying, in case you go out there and you don't come back in time, that somebody knows that something is wrong. But we often hear that once the alarm is raised that my husband is supposed to be back today at 7 and he has not, or sometimes the Coast Guard doesn't respond immediately. I do not know how valid those comments are, but can you just highlight what your protocol is with regard to emergency response?
Well, first and foremost, for us at the Coast Guard to respond to a situation where someone is lost at sea, we must know where you are, because the sea is a vast area. It's a big area, and a small boat is like a needle in a haystack. Looking for it out there. So what we need, the greatest piece of information that could be given to us at the Coast Guard is a location. It could either be a position, which is a GPS position, which is a latitude and longitude position, or a general area where that person is located. In the absence of that, there is not much that the Coast Guard can do. We can go out there and we can search, but we might be searching in the wrong area. So it is critical that we know where you are, and then we can make preparations to come and get you. In addition, we also need to know what is the nature of your emergency. Are you sinking? Are you on fire? Or are you just drifting? And that will determine our response.
Interestingly, I've never thought of that you need to know the nature of what I'll see why, because you'll need to know what you need to go out there with in order to do your job. But I know, so when people go missing, there's like a 48-hour window that needs to pass before communication goes out and stuff like that. Do you have any such protocol that after you get the call that there's a certain amount of time that has to pass before you respond?
No, there is no time limit in terms of when we respond. The sooner we can respond is the better the chances of finding the persons out there. So there is no time limit. Generally, in case of an emergency where a vessel is sinking or it is on fire, once we get that initial call, we try to respond within 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, men are ready, are on the vessels, and we are heading out to sea to that location. If it is an emergency, such as a fire on board or the vessel is sinking. Now, if it is a situation where the vessel is afloat and it is just adrift because the engine has broken down or something like that, there is not that speed to go out there because the vessel is afloat and everyone is alive. So we can maybe delay our response in terms of ensuring that we carry the proper gear and equipment and we plan properly to go out there.
Okay. All right, cool. Are there any other protocols in relation to search and rescue that you'd like to share with us today?
All right, well, generally for search and rescue, what I want to throw out there to both operators is the fact that search and rescue is, I won't say a technical area, but it is an area of high importance because loved ones are out at sea and they have to come back ashore. And unfortunately, sometimes we have incidents where people get lost at sea and they are not found. So whenever your friend, your family, or whoever, they go out to sea and they have not returned, it is important that you alert the Coast Guard as soon as possible because that will make the difference whether they're 10 miles away or 2 miles away from land. The longer you take to inform the Coast Guard, is the greater the distance that person would be traveling out at sea. So it is important to inform the Coast Guard as soon as possible and ensure that you give the Coast Guard a position, a location, so we know where to go. So we will not be wasting time and fuel and manpower in a particular area and the vessel is not located there. So we need to have that information, that critical piece of information as to a location. So it is important for boat operators to tell someone or to let someone know where you're going. If you're going to fish, let them know that I'm going to fish by Conference Rock, or I'm going to fish by Glover's Island. And if you do move from that location, call and say that I'm no longer by Conference Rock or by Glover's Island, but I'm now by Point Celine, so persons know where you are at all time. And you can also call the Coast Guard and give us that information as well.
Okay, but is there is there like a requirement for people venturing out at sea, like boat owners, to have in terms of like safety, like some sort of beacon or some sort of tracking device, GPS, that is required to be installed on a vehicle? Like for us drivers, there are things that you're required to have, a proper working indicators and stuff like that. Do you have that in place for boat owners and users, so at least if there is a situation where they're out at sea, it makes it easier for them to either survive the conditions or to be located?
Well, among the fishing fleet, the guys that do the long lining and are required to go out 100, 200 miles out at sea, there is a requirement for them to carry what is called an AIS. It's an automatic identification system that is unique to their vessel, so they can be tracked from a land-based station. So that is in effect, and we have the capacity, Coast Guard, to track those fishing vessels when they're out at sea in terms of where they are. But the regular fishing boats that we have from the little fishing villages that guys go out in the little cigarette boats and fish, that is not a requirement. And sad to say, they do not invest personally into their safety in that regard. So most of the time we have vessels being lost at sea, are vessels such as these little cigarette boats that do not carry this AIS system, whereas the bigger tuna boats and those schooners, they carry that system.
But are they able, the smaller boats, are they able to carry those, to install those systems? Because I'm not aware of the size or what sort of powering it requires.
Well, I'm not too au fait with regards to the technology, but I believe that they can power. There are those that you can power from the regular 24 volts battery. The battery, they can be powered like that. Whereas unlike the bigger vessel that may have generators, a much bigger power plant system, to power it up. But indeed, there are systems. There are tracking, systems that the smaller vessels can, can use. But while we're on that, Mikey, I must say that in my experience, what I observe is that the smaller boats, they don't spend money. They don't invest in their personal safety. They don't buy the life jackets. They don't buy the radios. They don't ensure that they have that means to go to do whatever they're doing out at sea and to return safely. And
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, there's something called an air tag. Oh, interestingly, I have one here. All right, this is an air tag, and it's very small. I do not know because I've never tested it. Let me open it up. But in other words, it is like for people who are owners of Apple products, you are actually able to buy one of this, like for what, 50 or so US. I don't think it's that much. It's not really a lot of money, and you can literally be tracked like anywhere you are in Grenada. It's so precise. It is so precise, and it's like I said, it's inexpensive, and it's this size. It doesn't need any power or anything like that. It just works. It could take a little water. It could take, and I'm not marketing for Apple, but I'm just saying while we were having this conversation, I'm just thinking that these days tracking has become so easy. So let's say $40 US or so for one of these things, and once you have it on you or wherever, I can find you exactly where you are. I lost one of these the other day, and I was able to find it even like in the remote area that it was by just tracking it. So probably they need to speak to somebody, a friend or so, who can advise them accordingly in terms of, what little thing that there is that they can actually use so that they can at least be a little safer when they're out at sea.
Yeah, I am familiar with the attacks that you would have just shown there, and it works pretty pretty well, pretty accurately. And like I say, like I said before, that is something that the fishermen can invest in on their own. So you buy they can buy an Apple phone, phone, and buy the AirTag, and ensure that it is placed on their vessel so they can be tracked in real time. So safety, there is no price on safety. You know that you want to go out there, do your business, and come back to shore safely, and in doing so, you must invest in your safety. There is no amount of money that you could spend in making yourself safe. And sadly, like I said, the local fishermen, many of the local fishermen, they don't.
Right. Yeah, that's tough, and we have lost so many people. Is there like some, what should I say, warning areas that you want to mention to both operators and users to stay away from, because it is likely that they may enter into difficulties? I don't know. I'm just saying, because sometimes there might be a particular area or areas that may have currents that is a little more aggressive than other areas, that sometimes will catch fishermen off guard.
I don't think we have any such areas. There are currents and running in different areas, and if you are a fisherman, you have to be aware of where those currents are running, and knowing the speed at which they run and the different timings. It's like that's your trade, so you must know your trade and how to manipulate the environment to suit you. So there is no such areas that are off limits. But the thing is, what fishermen have to be aware of is the capabilities of their vessels and their own personal experience and capabilities. So you won't want to venture out into areas where you do not have the competency to operate in. You do not want to go into an area where the size of your vessel is not the appropriate size to be operating in that area. So you as as a boat operator must be mindful of those dynamics. But to say particular areas where they shouldn't go, there are no such areas around that they shouldn't really venture in. It all depends on their skills and competence and the environmental conditions.
All right, thank you very much for that explanation. As we move on, let's talk about safety and security at sea and at the beaches. People who wants to go to the beach, have a good time. Sometimes we see some crazy stuff happening. So let's talk about that a while as well.
That is a cause for concern. It should not be up within 200 meters from the shore. So that operate, and we are the Coast Guard. We get calls, and we look into it. We go there and we would educate the boat operators that it is against the law to be operating a vessel in that close proximity to the shoreline.
Okay, and you're saying they should not be operating within 200 meters, you said?
Yeah, from the shoreline. Yes, it is in the law that they should not be operating that close to the shoreline.
Okay, all right. Wow, and that we didn't know, so we would know now and advise accordingly. Gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much for spending the time with us to explain these safety tips and at the beach and out at sea, and the protocols as it pertains to your response to emergencies. Is there any final comments that you would like to make? If so, I will give you the opportunity to do that now. I think that we should start with the constable first, Constable Japal, and then we go over to the inspector.
Yes, sure. So my final thing would be as old people say, see water don't have branch, So we have to take all precautions to safeguard against incidents and mishap at sea. And safety starts with us, Yes, so that is all from me.
Okay, Inspector?
Right, so as it relates to safety at sea, search and rescue, that's what we do. Our job is to, save lives, and boat operators venturing out at sea, just be mindful of some of the the safety equipment that you should carry, the basic safety equipment that you should carry to give yourself that added, chance of returning home. And also, it is important, critical, to give to us at the Coast Guard a location, a position as to where you are, so we can come and find you. And I guess, once we have that, your chances of returning home has increased. So thank you very much, Mikey.
Okay, thank you very much. And if something is happening, as soon as it starts to happen, I would say as soon as it starts to happen, communicate with somebody, your location. Communicate with somebody by phone, by radio, by something. Just communicate to them, hey, we are so, we are going down, or so. Don't try to, well, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just saying, if I was out there and something starts to happen, from the moment I see that something is happening, I would communicate my location, and then I would attend to it to see if I can resolve this or so, and not the other way around, waiting on when it's too late to communicate, and by then it's really too late to get to you or to save you. So that would be my added 2 cents. I don't know if it contravenes anything or if it goes against any of your protocols, but that is what I would advise somebody to do.
No, but I just want to add one quick thing here, Mikey. Sometimes, based on what is happening, you may not have the opportunity to call. So what you have to do, or what should be done, is intermittently, ever so often, you can call and update your position, with someone. So at least
even better,
half
yes.
an hour ago, half an hour ago, we know that you were here, and or you were there, as the case may be.
Right, that's where the experience comes in. So great. So thank you for that piece. And thanks again for spending time with us this morning. And before I go, I just have to say, I can't resist but say this. You sound so much like the former Prime Minister. I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you that. You sound like former Prime Minister Tilman Thomas.
I get that all the time, Mikey. I get that all the time.
By any chance, are you related?
No, we're not.
This is crazy. Like, okay, you sound exactly the same. Thank you again, gentlemen, and all the best.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and he says he gets that all the time. I just couldn't resist putting that one in there. So that was Inspector Roberts and Constable Japal speaking on safety at sea, safety equipment, emergency response, protocol in relations to search and rescue, and safety and security at sea and at the beach for people who are going out to enjoy our beautiful beaches. And that's going to pull the curtains down on this segment of our program.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
Ring, 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 back to school learn thing. Accel Finance help the joy of learning. Ring, 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 your future is bright. With the Accel loan help you get started right. Backpacks, the uniform is on. Accel Finance will let them do succeed. No worries, no stress. We got your back better Accel loan and keep them on track. Ring, 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 back to school learn thing. Accel Finance help the joy of learning.
Accelerate your kids' education today with an Accel Back to School loan. Visit today or call us on 435-8222.
Ring, 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 back to school learn thing. Accel Finance help the joy of learning.
Infinite Contractors and Machinery. We are your one-stop engineering and consultancy company with experience locally, regionally, and internationally. We provide excavation services and engineering consultancy, construction of residential and commercial structures, civil works such as drainage, retaining walls, roads, concrete patio services, paving services, concrete driveway services, remodeling and renovation, painting services, styling services, and so much more. Ask about our rental services of excavators, heavy equipment, metal formwork, and steel prop. Contact us today via telephone number 537-9675 or email infinitecontractors19@gmail.com.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
It's the Quartz Appliance Event. Cook it, fry it, bake it on a new Mabe stove for only $1,799. Stack it, pack it, and chill it with a Frigidaire 4-mount fridge for $2,749. Laundry piling up? Wash it, spin it, dry it in a Frigidaire 17-kilogram washing machine top, only $2,399. Get it now and pay later. It's the Quartz Appliance Event, only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offers end July 24th, 2024. Conditions apply.
This is the GIS News for Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. I am Chris Ann Mitchell. In the headlines, application forms now available for assistance on the post-Hurricane Beryl Incentive Package. Details of this story and others after the break.
It's been 3 weeks since Hurricane Beryl tore through Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and Jamaica. Now as the region slowly starts rebuilding from yet another climate change-induced weather disaster, there's some serious questions. Who foots the bill? What's fair? And what about the next storm that may soon roar through the region?
We also need to urgently reform the international financial system so more money and more long-term concessional loans can be provided to small and vulnerable states. I'm calling for all climate finance commitments to be fulfilled immediately. We can still make a difference.
Welcome back. Application forms for assistance under the Post-Hurricane Beryl Incentives Package Phase 2 are now in possession of the Beryl Economic Support Secretariat in Carriacou and will be immediately made available to residents. They can be collected at the Carriacou Multipurpose Center from where the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite-Martinique Affairs is operating. The program is designed to support reconstruction of physical infrastructure and business reactivation in the aftermath of the hurricane, which devastated the sister islands in early July. As part of the program for local purchases to support the reconstruction of physical infrastructure, there is a 100% waiver of VAT on all building materials, and for imported supplies, there is a 100% waiver of Common External Tariff or CET, VAT, and customs service charge on all building materials. Under business reactivation, there will be a 100% waiver of CET, VAT, customs service charge, excise tax, and environmental levy where applicable to businesses on machinery and equipment imported to replace that which was destroyed or damaged by Hurricane Beryl.
In terms of the services available, what's covered under the incentive program is tax waivers to households, individuals, and businesses. For the most part, that's what it entails. So as people seek to reconstruct their buildings, their roof, etc., you're entitled under this regime to have waivers of the VAT if you're purchasing locally, or if you're going to import from Trinidad, St. Vincent. Some people are going as far away as Miami, wherever. Then you have, in addition to the VAT, you have exemption on the CET and the CSC, the Common External Tariff and the Customs Service Charge. The same applies not just to building material, but also to your furnishing, your furniture, household appliances, so refrigerators and televisions and freezers, etc. For households and individuals, you're limited to one per item in this category. So one fridge, one television, one washing machine, etc. In Carriacou, we do have a number of sort of extended household arrangements where, and I think the same happens in Grenada as well, where, the parents might be upstairs and a son or a daughter has a complete apartment built out in the downstairs or something to that effect. In a case like that, consideration will be given to treat it with the situation as if it's two independent households.
That was Interim Coordinator of the Burial Economic Support Secretariat, Mr. Davon Baker. During an interview with the Government Information Service from Carriacou on Thursday, Mr. Baker also explained how the businesses will benefit under the program.
For businesses, for example, a restaurant might have 2 or 3 refrigerators that they lost during the storm. You cannot treat that in the same way as you would with a household where you expect a single refrigerator. So you may the intention is that some discretion is exercised with regards to businesses, and to consider providing the waiver for multiple appliances of the same kind. There isn't any cap or established cap on the amount to say 3 or up to 5, but I think as we go along, as we see what happens, then the necessary adjustments and tweaks would be made to the system to ensure that what we do is reasonable and fair to the people that we intend to serve.
Individuals and businesses must submit their application to the Secretariat along with relevant documentation so that they can be processed as quickly as possible.
Once the forms are in, what would happen is that you will review, ensure that we have all the information, all the supporting material that we need. The next step immediately would be to have the validation process begin. So somebody or somebodies would go out to the location and look at what exists on the ground, and try to ensure that the request is reasonable for what exists, and not something that is different from the situation on the ground. So we try to ground truth the whole situation. So the idea is not to make people who are already distressed more distressed by being exceedingly stringent and have them going back and forth, over minor stuff. There's room for flexibility, but we just want to be able to verify that the requests are reasonable and valid. And once that is done and the approval is granted, bear in mind that there might be circumstances where people will be asked to revise certain things, but once approval is granted, then the application will be passed on to the Ministry of Finance, where we expect that the waiver would be granted and a document to the same effect will be provided to the applicant. We expect that 3 days would be a reasonable time for us to have that initial approval on Carriacou at the best, and another 2 days to have the waiver granted by the Ministry of Finance.
Interim Coordinator of the Burial Economic Support Secretariat, Mr. Davon Baker. Chairman of CARICOM, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, is urging CARICOM citizens to remain alert following the recent declaration by the World Health Organization regarding the outbreak of Mpox, formerly called monkeypox, specifically the more transmissible type 1B. Prime Minister Mitchell encourages citizens to stay informed through updates from CARPHA and local health authorities regarding Mpox and its transmission. In a statement, he said, and I quote, It is important to be vigilant for any unusual rashes or lesions, especially if individuals have a travel history to areas with reported cases of mpox, and seek immediate medical attention if signs or symptoms are detected. Additionally, reporting any suspicious cases to local health authorities is a critical step in allowing for further epidemiological investigation. Prime Minister Michel's statement added that as heads of government, they remain resolute in their support to strengthen ministries of health within their member states and associate members to ensure effective surveillance efforts and public health strategies to raise public awareness about mpox and contribute to our collective preparedness. The CARICOM Secretariat, he says, will work with CARPHA to ensure a well-coordinated regional and international response. Mpox is a zoonotic disease caused by the monkeypox virus that can spread through direct contact with infected individuals, animals, or contaminated materials. The current outbreak has shown a rapid increase in cases, particularly in the Democratic Republic of the Congo and neighboring countries, with the potential for further spread globally. Although the Caribbean Public Health Agency CARPHA has reported no cases of mpox, Clade 1b in the Caribbean community to date, enhanced surveillance for rapid identification of possible cases is essential to ensure the safety and health security of our citizens. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sean Charles told the GIS recently that Grenada is under no immediate threat of the disease. Stay with us. We'll be back after the break.
Well, at this time of the year, we do expect rainfall events because we will be affected by systems such as tropical wave passing through. We will have the presence of the ITCZ in our area, and we might even have tropical cyclones, whether it's depression or storm. Okay? So what we would expect is we will have big rain events. Okay? No matter how dry or wet the season is, we are going to have big rain events. So therefore it is important for every household to have some bit of water stored, because these big rain events normally put us pressure on the water system. For example, we have landslides that we take away pipes. We may have heavy rainfall that would block the dams and so forth, and so your regular supply will be interrupted. So it is so important for every household to have the recommended 3 days storage of potable water in the household for such eventualities.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources is implementing a series of measures aimed at mitigating the impact of Hurricane Beryl on Grenada's food security. In addition to the extensive land clearing support provided to farmers post-Beryl, the Ministry of Agriculture is also on an intense drive to increase the volume of planting materials made available to farmers. Details in this report.
Mindful of the severe loss and in some instances the overall destruction of farmlands, the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources is on a massive drive to ensure that planting material will be readily available as Grenada embarks on rebuilding the agricultural sector hard hit by Hurricane Beryl.
Definitely for our estates, for the 100 acres, the 50 acres, I would say anything from 5 acres and up. We have to strategically look to do replanting, but we must not do the mistakes we made in the past. This has been an event that affected and really is a disaster level event. But it gives us an opportunity to literally start from scratch, as they say, and do it properly. So we must replant with agro-industry in mind. What we could process, things like the nutmeg seeds, the soursop seeds, these traditional crops. The cocoa is a bit more of a resilient crop, so even where you had trees falling over and leaning, they can be righted. But this is an opportunity now for us to replant our cocoa estates in its entirety, our cocoa plantation. Our trees are too old. The soursop industry took a big hit. We need seeds. We lost a lot of young fruits, so there will be a void in harvesting and production for a little while. But we have the capacity to start propagating.
The Ministry of Agriculture operates 4 propagating stations, namely Ashinden, Bulong, Maran, and Meribu, which are working with farmers to collect seeds and propagation material with the aim of ensuring a continuous supply of plantlets.
So the drive is on now to collect seedlings, seeds from the farmers who are existing in these clusters, mainly in the northeastern corridor of the island. We already have pledges from some of these farmers, and we're looking forward to doing our own collections and our government control compounds and estates, and hopefully we're safely looking from the committee and from the evaluation that was done to probably target anywhere between 20 to 25,000 plantlets, say over the next 3 to 4 months. Of course, it may spill over into the dry season, but that is a target based on needs that we have estimated and of course evaluated from doing our recovery efforts.
Work has already begun on the revitalization of government estates. Additionally, the ministry continues to assist farmers through chainsaw services for land clearing, drainage, lining up, and replanting.
You cannot even overemphasize the need to get our estates back into production. We're here at the Montoul estate now. It's a good location based on the geolocation for soursop. It is in the lower middle belt and some areas upper belt, but we have room up here for soursop plantation. We have room at Granbra. In fact, we have some of the plots there are still intact, even though they're a little shaken up. There is an opportunity to merge the social aspect with the economical aspect and use this estate to really turn around the fortunes of people, of our citizens, of our especially in these close localities.
On Wednesday, Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, Honorable Lennox Andrews, announced a further injection of $2.4 million in income support to nutmeg and cocoa farmers, with over $11.6 million available to other farmers. For the GIS News, I am Betty and Lazarus.
The conversation continues on the development of a comprehensive program of action addressing climate mobility within Grenada's National Adaptation Plan. Earlier this month, key stakeholders from government, the private sector, and non-governmental organizations participated in an initial workshop to explore how climate mobility can be effectively integrated into Grenada's NAP. This week, the team from the National Adaptation Plan project under the Ministry of Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy reconvened with key partners to advance these discussions. Dr. Roxanne Graham, National Climate Change Adaptation Officer with the ministry, provided an update on the progress made.
Today's session was actually a part 2 or a continuation of our initial climate mobility workshop. It was held on August 6th. And in that workshop, we actually worked on developing a common goal for climate mobility as well as objectives and indicators. And essentially, we have to, focus on indicators because these are like guidance or measures or, should I say, points that can help you understand where you're going or how you're achieving the objectives to meet the goal. So we completed that in the last workshop, and this workshop was all about developing measures to contribute to these objectives that we developed in the last session. Based on the stakeholders' contributions from the last session, what I essentially did was come up with a thematic analysis to pull out the main themes from the discussions that we had. And these themes include for the objectives, institutional and policy framework enhancement, data collection, awareness and community engagement, resilient infrastructure and services, economic diversification and livelihood enhancement, and disaster preparedness and response. So these are the 5 themes that came out of our last discussion in terms of the objectives.
National Adaptation Plan Advisor Martina Duncan also participated in the session, leading a group discussion on the objective of institutional and policy framework enhancement. She shared the indicators her group identified for this objective.
So the measures we came up with, the creation of a climate mobility policy, and before that, the assessment of the national policies for the elements that we would need for a climate mobility policy, in case that there are already things that are covered in other national policies, so we're not duplicating efforts. Of course, capacity building of our key stakeholders in the ministries and statutory bodies and private sector and so on, about climate mobility, what it is and how we can, what we need to do, just to sensitize people as well as build the capacity in terms of what they would need to do. Then of course, development of a relocation strategy, establishment of a task force on the different issues, multiple task force on the different issues that we need to address following, before and after a disaster. And then establishing a fund for climate mobility. So we have to conduct an assessment of the existing funds, because we felt like we may not need to have a brand new fund. We can have a disaster fund already, and we have sustainable development fund. So we can assess those to see how we can add on, or what options there are for us to have this climate mobility fund.
Climate mobility refers to the movement of people within or across borders due to sudden or progressive environmental changes that negatively impact their living conditions. This movement, which can be temporary or permanent, is often triggered by extreme weather events such as hurricanes and floods, or longer-term environmental changes like sea level rise and drought. We'll be back after this break.
For climate change, what is Grenada going to experience? Going to experience water shortage. It's going to experience, particularly after storm hurricanes, the Nawasa system is going to break down, and you will need water in between. Rainwater harvesting could help. So rainwater harvesting is not only about getting water for drinking and for use. It is also about minimizing flooding and flood control.
Welcome back. Following the announcement of an insurance payout exceeding $3 million, which will see cocoa and nutmeg farmers receiving up to $9,000, Wayne George, chairman of the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association, is urging farmers to obtain their insurance to cover themselves and safeguard their livelihoods in the event of another hurricane. His advice came during a press briefing on Wednesday, where Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Lennox Andrews, provided details on the insurance payout secured by the government. George highlighted that the insurance offered is both affordable and available to all crop farmers.
We have been discussing it for some time. We have been trying to come up with our own product, but we are happy that we have a product already available from Dominica. So we want to take that opportunity to encourage all farmers to don't get caught saying, if I had known. Be proactive. Take the step forward. So all that will help us aiding in building back a more resilient industry. As we have built back better after Ivan with our houses, I think we should build back our farms better after Beryl.
According to George, the local office located in the Credit Union League building in Belmont Street, St. George, offers insurance premiums with monthly payments of less than $100.
You can go in there and make your purchase. You'll get the lowest, the lowest premium is $96. You can buy insurance for $96, and that will result in a payout of $1,300, $1,003. So if we just say like a policy like $100, so for like every $100 you get a total of $1,300. So $200 would send you to 2,000 plus. So that's why we're saying it is affordable. So the small farmers can take the smallest package, or they can take something bigger. The middle farmers can look for something that is applicable for them. But what is important is that it is very affordable, not costly, and it brings significant benefits. Significant benefits. In the advent of the hurricane, when an event is triggered, now the hurricane doesn't have to necessarily pass through over our island, right? There is a band, 100 kilometers, 25 kilometers. It passes at our shows. That distance from our thing triggers of a payment. You don't have to sustain any damage. Once an event is triggered and it passes within a certain distance from Grenada, a payment is triggered. And in this case, a category 4, whereas a category 4, the payment was 50%. If it was probably a category 5, that would have initiated a full payout of over $6 million.
Members of the 5th cohort of Directors Education and Accreditation Program of state-owned enterprises, statutory bodies, have been awarded with their accreditation. This latest cohort includes directors from key institutions such as the Child Protection Authority, Grenada Tourism Authority, Planning and Development Authority, Grenada Airports Authority, and various government ministries. This brings the total number of certified directors in Grenada to 125. Ronald Peters, Deputy Chairperson of the Integrity Commission, shared that with this role in leadership, good governance must be exercised.
Governance very often is expressed as being good governance, but with or without the qualifier good, governance itself is understood to be for the good of. All right? Governance is imbued with honesty, decency, and generosity in service of the entity being governed. Governance is not just about rules, regulations, and procedures. It is about leadership, integrity, and the ability to steer the organization towards sustainable success. It is important that those who serve in public life do so with utmost integrity and are guided by what has become known as the Nolan Principles.
Peters said that there are 2 key requirements as directors.
As directors, you need to understand these responsibilities, and I hope the training that you received would help you to navigate the dilemmas that can arise from the exercise of those responsibilities. In addition to the training you received over the 3 days, the 2 bits of advice which will be helpful in navigating the possible dilemmas. 1, directors must be knowledgeable about the legislation creating the statutory body on whose board they serve. And 2, as a board, you should proactively engage with your line minister periodically. Yeah? One of the aims of this engagement should be to build respect and trust.
Minister for Finance, Honorable Dennis Cornwall, delivered the keynote address. He said that government is keen on delivering on its commitment to good governance.
Critical to the success of these bodies is ensuring that they are properly governed, including by having in place fit-for-purpose board of directors. It is no secret that when we came into office, we inherited a situation where many of the current directors who serve on boards of statutory bodies and state-owned enterprise have not had the requisite training, nor are they fully aware of the fiduciary duties and other responsibilities that they are supposed to be undertaken. That approach to governance of statutory bodies and state-owned enterprise should not be allowed to continue in that manner. We are committed to doing things differently and, of course, better in this regard. And you are the pioneers of this change. Now that you are trained and certified, you need to lead from the front in improving the overall performance of the bodies on which you serve.
Interim President Director Denisha Daniel reported on the progress made towards the formation of the Grenada Association of Accredited Directors. The association will be a platform to ensure that directors can network and develop themselves.
The Grenada Association of Accredited Directors, or GAAP for short. As the interim president, I'm excited to share with you our progress for this important initiative. The formation of the Grenada Association of Accredited Directors reflects a growing recognition that effective corporate governance is essential for the sustainable growth and development and the success of businesses, including statutory bodies, in Grenada. By bringing together all the accredited directors, we aim to create a platform for networking, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. This collective effort will undoubtedly contribute to raising the overall standard of corporate governance practices in our island. We've made significant strides in the recent months. A draft constitution is currently being reviewed by the committee members and awaiting review by a legal team to ensure that it aligns with our association's objectives and adherence to the laws of the land. Additionally, we've established subcommittees to focus on critical areas such as governance, ethics, policies, education, and finance. These dedicated teams are working diligently to contribute to developing the strategies and guidelines that will support the association's mission. Our goal is to launch the association before the end of the year.
We take our final break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. In sports this evening, Olympic bronze medalist Anderson Peters makes Grenada proud yet again. Leslie Ann Johnson has a roundup of sports.
Grenada's javelin Olympic bronze medalist Anderson Peters produced a throw of 90.61 meters to win the men's javelin event in Lausanne, Switzerland at the Diamond League on Thursday. It is a meet record and season's best. Keyshawn Walcott of Trinidad and Tobago held the previous record of 90.16 meters. The Windward Islands youth cricket team is set to showcase its talent and determination at the inaugural youth cricket series between the Trinidad and Tobago under-13 team and the Windward Islands under-13 team. It begins on Friday with a warm-up match at the Lassages playing field. GIS visited the National Stadium's cricket grounds where the team was hard at work, fine-tuning its skills in preparation for the games. The Windward Islands youth team is comprised of the best talent from Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and Dominica. Cricket coach Troy George says the match will augur well for the future of cricket in the Caribbean.
Well, it's all about development. West Indies would have rolled out agreements in terms of developing cricket across the Caribbean, and the winners have come to the decision that here's what, in order for us to develop, we need to start from the lowest age possible. So it's just a continuation in terms of getting talent as low as possible, see how we can enhance it, and try to develop West Indies cricket from here forward. We have some players here extremely talented at that age, and once we can enhance it, I think it just shows the growth. Windwards at this stage is doing wonderful well at the senior level, on the 19 level, and now we get into the grassroots on the 13. So it's just a matter of them just propelling themselves. Cricket is playing right around the world, so the livelihood for themselves and their family is just tremendous. So hopefully they can look at it that way and put the skills into work.
Coach George spoke about the team's preparation for Grenadians that are on the Windward Islands team.
The team came in on the 17th. We had a couple of practice sessions and we had a practice match yesterday, which we won convincingly in Lassages. I think everything is going well. It's always a little difficult when you have players coming from different islands, but the guys have gelled pretty well, and I think we'll do well coming in the tournament against Trinidad and Tobago. We have Aaron Saint-Hilaire. He's a left-arm bat, really good all-rounder. We have Jaden Bristol from Carriacou, medium pacer. We have Tyrone Moraine, leg spinner, Chinaman. Very young, just 9 years old, taking 9 years. But he's really good. And we have Javon Francis, that is going to be part of the squad. We also have a person that's going to come in, which is Uman Patel, who's going to replace one of the players, and he's a off spinner. Really talented guy.
Cricket coach from St. Lucia, Junior DeRose, is in Grenada assisting with preparations. He said based on what he has seen, the team is ready.
Our preparation has been going okay. We had a practice game yesterday in which we were victorious. The boys came from 4 different territories, being St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, and Grenada. The captain is Sean, and the vice captain Nian Davis. Going forward, I think this is a very good initiative from the Windward Island Cricket Board and the Trinidad Board to actually make this the grassroots of the cricket. It should serve as a feeder program for the under-15 program, and if it all goes well, I see it as a very good initiative for West Indies.
Dominican Jershon Joseph is the captain of the team. He believes they will be victorious.
It's been good. I think the boys have been doing well in the trainings and the practice matches. I think we'll come out victorious, try to win all 3 of the matches.
Jean-Claude Emmanuel, the under-13 cricket player from St. Lucia, is looking forward to coming out victorious. So is Grenada's Aaron St. Hilaire.
We focus a lot on warming up and how important it is, and we did a lot of batting and bowling, the usual stuff. Yeah, that's it.
And what are your expectations coming out from this match?
I think we can beat them. I think the team is very strong. We have batsmen, bowlers that are capable.
I bowl and bat. Basically, longer.
All matches are scheduled to be played at the Lassaches ground in St. David and will begin at 10 a.m. Grenada's para-athletes Ishona Charles and Tyler Smith will leave here on Saturday for the 2024 Paris Paralympics, which runs from August 28th to September 8th. They will be accompanied by Secretary of the Grenada Paralympics Committee Alvin Plowden and their coach, Level 1 IAAF certified Bassanio Nicholas. The 2 field event competitors are hoping to make a big impact in their respective competitions. Ishona Charles is participating in her 2nd Paralympic Games following her debut in the 2021 Tokyo Games. She will compete in the women's F46 javelin and F46 shot put. Tyler Smith will participate in the men's shot put F43. GIS spoke on Thursday with Paralympics Committee Secretary Alvin Plowden about the readiness of the athletes.
I think Tyler is a lot more prepared mentally. He wants to do good. He is hungry. And it's going to be a major achievement for him at 17 years. So this is a big opportunity for him. He has another probably 12 years at this. So it is an opportunity. It's a learning experience for him. If he can go out there, look, learn, listen, and come back and prepare for, because just like Anderson and Lyndon, they went, participated, looked, listened, and came back and improved their craft. Similarly, we believe Tyler is in that stage. Ishona is the more experienced person, having been there before, and she knows what to expect and how to perform. We do see Ishona as doing well in her 2 events. Ishona is going to participate on the 4th and on the 6th of September. So she does the shot put on the 4th and the javelin on the 6th. Tyler chose the shot put on the 7th of September. So when they get there, there are the opportunity for them to do some training and competition site visits so that you acclimatize to what is taking place there.
The opening ceremony of the Paris Paralympic Games takes place on Wednesday, August 28th, and will see participation from thousands of Paralympic athletes from 180 international delegations. Mr. Clouden says the pair has been putting in the work to ensure they are ready for the Games.
They are using the Trailblazers facilities in Lassages. Coach Paul Phillip has been assisting and has given them a program that Bassanio has been working with. So they are ready, and we can expect some good results. we are not going to predict any medals at this time, but good results on the day is anybody's game.
Finally, young aspiring footballers are participating in a two-day national grassroots football tournament at the Roy St. John playing field in Tantine. It caters to children in 4 age categories, under 8, 10, 13 and 15, and it is being executed by the Just Sports Development Center. GIS visited the Roy St. John playing field where the under 8 and under 10 footballers were in action. The center's technical director Lester Smith is satisfied with the start of the tournament, and he emphasized the importance of such initiatives in developing the next generation of football talent in Grenada.
This is tremendous, what we're seeing in the background here. It's great, it's fantastic. It's the first day of the National Grassroots Football Tournament. And may I hasten to say the Ministry of Sport is on board, the Grenada Football Association is on board, and I'm really happy that we have kicked this one off this morning. Tomorrow we'll have the under 13s and the under 15s. Today we have the U8s and the U10s. We have Hurricane is here. Right Step Soccer Academy, Just Sports is here. We are the hosts, Just Sports, and we're down to the last set of matches in the preliminary round, and we're going to go to a straight final, and then we're going to refresh the kids. What a joy! And the parents are out today. What a joy that before school open we can provide a platform on avenue for these kids to come out and have fun through football. Football changes life. Football is a sport that has business. Football is everything you can think about, and no better way to do it than to invest in these kids. The under 8s, the under 10s, we can see talent coming through, and I'm really happy to be a part of this today. Well, coming out from this, I know the kids will be pumped up. They will be geared to go for when school reopens. These are the primary school kids here, and I'm hoping that the GUT and all the others can look at this and say, hey, let's get ready for primary school football again. There's been a lull. Let's get ready for primary school football again. And if they need help, Just Sports is here to help them. But after this, I know the kids are going to be all pumped up to play primary school football. Tomorrow, the U13s and the U15s, they're going to be pumped up to play secondary school football. So this is what happens. This is like a forerunner, right? An appetizer to what is to come.
Smith also said that the tournament has a significant meaning behind it.
It was great response until the last minute. A lot of the teams decide, hey, they can't come with these kids, because I know for a fact they don't want to take the burden of coming with under 8s and under 10 kids. But I tell you what, this is where it starts. This is the best. Not even under 13s or under 15. This is where the development really starts, under 8, under 10. And one more thing, this cap on my head here, it's Paradise Club in Barbados, and this tournament is a commemorative tournament. It's a tournament to remember the passing of Kenville Lane. Kenville Lane, an integral part of Just Sports Player Development Center, and Kenville had passed away a few weeks ago. And this tournament is really about Kenville, and just to show that he was a dedicated coach in Barbados to grassroots football, and we're just happy to be a part of this and him.
And that's the GIS Evening Sports. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Thank you, Leslie Ann. This brings us to the end of the GIS News for August 22nd, 2024. Recapping the top story, application forms now available for assistance on the post-Hurricane Beryl Incentive Package. And we had a roundup of sports from Leslie Ann Johnson. Thank you. I am Chris and Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Christian, and the rest of the GIS News team. And what we have for you right now is the weather. And what we can tell you, as submitted by the Met Office, the weather is expected to be mostly fair, with a low chance of a few brief isolated showers by early morning. Tonight's minimum temperature 26 degrees Celsius. Winds northeasterly to southeasterly at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate with waves 3 to 5 feet in open waters. For Friday, we expect the weather to be partly cloudy with isolated showers, increasing in cloudiness overnight with light to moderate showers and a medium chance of thunder. Max temperature 32 degrees Celsius, minimum 25.5 degrees Celsius. Winds easterly to southeasterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour, gusting high with showers. Seas moderate with waves 4 to 6 feet in open waters. And that's, my friends, your weather report for tonight and tomorrow. So that's it. And we want to big up the folks who are currently on YouTube, all the YouTubers right now: Hillary, Celine, Marcus, Suzanne, Peter, Closilda, everybody else who's there. We say hello to you. Likewise, Facebook viewers, Many of you gone, but those of you who are here still, hello to you. Java and the sharing committee, Claudette, Charmaine, Java, again holding down things, Angel, Veronica, Hazel, Hazeland, Shum Shum, and Ansha, as well as Adonna, who's always here, Liz, Claudette, and Jane, always here as well. Kushi, if I'm pronouncing that right, hello to you. And Suzanne, woof, Bermuda, and the others. We say take care of yourselves and your family. We touch base again tomorrow, God willing, same time, same place. Let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say ja. No, take care.
Thank you.